Hi dear friends and subscribers of Cricket Happenings. Welcome to the late edition of the Cricket Happenings show this on a Saturday with your host Ram. Well, in this particular Cricket Happenings show, I'll be starting off with the qualifier 2 yesterday, where Chennai Super Kings were put out of the Indian Premier League by Kings 11 Punjab, and as you know, tomorrow Kings 11 Punjab are clashing against Kolkata Knight Riders in the finals of the Indian Premier League 2014. Well, so that is a match which is coming up, and what a match that is going to be. It is going to be played at the Bangalore Stadium. So that is a match which is coming up. So we'll be having a brief look at yesterday's match that happened in the qualifier 2, where Chennai Super Kings clashed with Kings 11 Punjab, and Kings 11 Punjab, well, what to say, Virendra Sehwag going on to make a century. What a knock that was. But later on there was something which was much better than Virendra Sehwag, and that was the knock of Suresh Raina, making 87 of just 25 deliveries, carving the ball to all parts of the field with absolute determination and power and timing too. So we'll have a brief look at that, and then I will do a brief preview of the Indian Premier League Finals 2013, which is coming up tomorrow between Kolkata Knight Riders and Kings 11 Punjab. But well, as far as the talk of the day is concerned today, is the match, the fourth one-day international, which was played between England and Sri Lanka today at the Mecca of English cricket, the Lord's Cricket Ground. And well, the spectators who came to the ground would have really got their excitement. In the sense they would have really got their money's worth today, because we had a splendid game which was happening, where it looked like Sri Lanka had already got a stranglehold on England when 5 wickets were down. But Jos Butler gave them hope. In fact, he infused hope into this England camp by hitting a century, his maiden century. Not only that, he slammed the fastest century by an Englishman in one-day internationals by scoring a century of just 61 balls and eclipsing Kevin Pietersen's record of a century of 69 balls. So that was the record, but today Kevin Pietersen's record was broken. So Jos Butler is the new record holder as far as the fastest century for England is concerned, and that was a wonderful. But it was only a shame because Jos Butler was there till in the end, when probably I think it was 12 runs which were required, but finally this England team, because Butler was run out in the last over, and England had to lose by 7 runs to Sri Lanka, who made 300 runs batting first. So first, let's go on to the match. As I said, the qualifier 2. I'm going to have a brief look as far as the Kings 11 Punjab are concerned. Well, Kings 11 Punjab has been having this ability, or something that they have been doing with customary regularity in the Indian Premier League, and that is getting in excess of 200 runs. Yesterday they had a brilliant start. Many of you would have heard my cricket commentary, and I was telling you, if Virendra Sehwag scores a century, and definitely, as I said, that's what precisely happened. Virendra Sehwag was in his punitive mood yesterday, and he went on to make 122 runs of 58 balls with 12 fours and 8 sixes, and we saw the glimpses of the Virendra Sehwag of old yesterday. And 38 coming from David Miller of 19 balls with 5 fours and 1 six. Manan Vora 34 of 31. 226 for 6 was the score that Kings 11 Punjab raised on the board, and it was always going to be a tough ask for the Chennai Super Kings. But the bowling was absolutely dismissed by Virendra Sehwag. Ashish Nehra bowling 4 overs, 51 runs, 2 wickets. Ishwar Pandey 4 overs, 1 for 35. No bowler was spared yesterday. Mohit Sharma 4 overs, 46 runs and 1 wicket. Ashwin's 4 overs carted for 44 runs with a wicket to his name. Jadeja 4 overs for 48 runs. But Ravichandran Ashwin definitely had the last nod on Glenn Maxwell yesterday, after Glenn Maxwell smoked him for a 6. And as promised, Ashwin got the wicket of Glenn Maxwell, and he blew a kiss. And definitely Mahendra Singh Dhoni, the captain of Chennai Super Kings, probably was not amused by that, because he wanted to keep Chennai Super Kings team for the award of the, they normally give an award for the best sportsmanship. But unfortunately, Ravichandran Ashwin was blowing a kiss to Glenn Maxwell, and Glenn Maxwell was also a bit miffed at that. Jadeja bowled 4 overs for 48 runs. Now, as far as Chennai Super Kings were concerned, well, they didn't have a good beginning. Both the openers were into the pavilion with just, I thought it was 1 for 1. But what Mahendra Singh Dhoni did, he decided to promote Suresh Raina. And Suresh Raina, I was probably given a clear license to attack. What a knock from Suresh Raina. He went on to make 87 runs of just, Dwayne Smith, can you imagine this? Dwayne Smith is normally such an aggressive player. He was a mere spectator. You feel like laughing when you see that out of the partnership, when the first wicket was gone for 1, 66 runs were scored when Dwayne Smith was out, and that was in the 5th over, and Dwayne Smith's contribution was just 7 runs. So you can imagine how many runs Suresh Raina might have garnered. Within that span, he was already on 80 runs. So such was the tremendous influence over the match that Suresh Raina had, and what a knock. He was literally pasting each and every bowler, and he went on to hit Parvinder Ravana for 33 runs in a single over. Not only that, he brought up the 50 for the Chennai Super Kings in just the 6th over. This was absolutely scintillating batting from Suresh Raina, and Virendra Sehwag's knock was literally put into the shade because of the knock that Suresh Raina played. But what a shame that Suresh Raina was run out with a misunderstanding with Brendan McCullum, where both of them had a sort of hesitation on the run, and finally Suresh Raina had to pay his wicket, and Suresh Raina was not at all happy with it. And why not? And I'm sure if Suresh Raina in yesterday's mood would have been available, this match would have been taken by, because such was the ferocious hitting that Suresh Raina was doing. He made 87 runs of just 25 deliveries, 12 fours and 6 sixes. But once Suresh Raina was gone, it was Kings 11 Punjab. Literally, in the sense they saw to it that that the Chennai Super Kings were not able to continue the same tempo as wickets started falling in the form of Brendan McCullum for 11, Jadeja made 27, Dhoni, well, he was there in the end, but the task was absolutely, it was, I wouldn't say it was beyond reach. With Dhoni, one always felt that Chennai Super Kings still had an opportunity, but I thought the bowling was very good, and Mahendra Singh Dhoni had to end up with an unbeaten 42 of 31 balls with 3 fours and 3 sixes. He did his bit, but finally the score of 226 raised by Kings 11 Punjab proved a really a very big score, and a winning score at that, with the Chennai Super Kings restricted to 202 for 7 of their 20 overs. I'm not going to go into the bowling figures, but Virendra Sehwag, for his winning knock of 122, was named man of the match. Well, from here we will shift to the 420 international, which as I said, today it was played between England and Sri Lanka, and it was a match which was a must-win match for Sri Lanka. And what Sri Lanka did is they definitely won it, but on the same token they also leveled the series 2-2, with the final clash going to happen on 3rd of June between England and Sri Lanka. That will be the 5th one-day international, which will be at Birmingham. So the match is nicely set. But as I said, today's game, even though Sri Lanka won and leveled the series, I would say it definitely belonged to Jos Butler, who went on to make a century of just 61 deliveries, eclipsing the record by the fastest century by an Englishman in one-day internationals. As I said, Kevin Pietersen's record of a century scored of 69 balls was totally wiped out by Jos Butler. And Jos Butler also got his maiden century in one-day international cricket. Let's have a look at what happened. Well, for Sri Lanka, If you look at the Sri Lankan card, they made 300 for 9 of their 50 overs. They lost Kushal Perera early, but Dilshan, well, put his head down, and he was involved in a very, very good partnership. In fact, that was a pretty long partnership, because from 26 for 1 when Perera departed in the 6th over, Dilshan and it was Kumar Sangakkara who took the score on to 198. So that essentially meant that it was a 172 run partnership for the second wicket, which really gave them a real base to launch the innings, with Dilshan's contribution 71 of 109 balls with 5 fours. And if you look at that knock of Dilshan, it was pretty restrained, and he definitely understood the situation of the game, and he played according to that precisely. And you never see Dilshan making 71 of 109 balls with just 5 fours. That's a real surprise, but well, he definitely has adapted to the needs of the game. And Kumar Sangakkara, that is something. It's a dream for everybody to score a century at the Mecca of English cricket, the Lord's Cricket Ground. And Kumar Sangakkara, I mean, it is something very surprising, but such a great player like Kumar Sangakkara has not scored a single century at the Lord's Cricket Ground. And Kumar Sangakkara, what a mighty relief it would be that Kumar Sangakkara went on to make his first century at the Lord's Cricket Ground, and that was 112 runs of 104 balls with 14 fours. And that's the precise reason, because of that partnership, the second wicket partnership, that is the reason Sri Lanka could get on to 300 for 9 of their 50 overs. Angelo Matthews was out for 7. Thirimani made only Matthews was out for 30 of as many balls, 4 fours. Thirimani contributed 16 of 14 balls with 2 fours. Priyanjan was out for 9. Kulashekara for a duck. Senanayake flourished with 12 of 5 balls, 1 4 and 1 6. And if you look at the bowling there, Anderson 2 for 60, 10 overs 1 minute, 2 for 60 was a bit costly. Gurney bowled excellently, I thought, and Gurney is really showing the qualities of improvement, in the sense every match you see Gurney, his bowling figures are improving. He's picking up wickets, and again he has picked up a 4-wicket back. 10 overs 2 maidens, 55 runs and 4 wickets. Joe Root 6 overs for 40. Jordan today was really taken to the cleaners. 10 overs no maiden, 2 for 67. Treadwell, I thought, bowled excellently. 10 overs 1 for 39. 4 overs for 36 for Ravi Bopara, whose line was absolutely awry. He was spraying the ball in all the directions. And 300 was what England were faced with. But Lasith Malinga didn't allow England to have a good start, as he picked up both the openers pretty quickly. First he had Alistair Cook LBW for 1, and he sent Ian Bell back to the pavilion caught by Jayawardene for 7. And that was the time the score was 10 for 2 for England, and Gary Ballance and Joe Root were at the crease. Well, Gary Ballance and Joe Root slowly they tried to, they took their time, but they definitely did their bit and tried to push the score along. They did that with the contribution from Gary Ballance being 42 of 69 balls with 2 fours, Joe Root contributing 43 of 68 balls with 1 4, and Ian Morgan was dismissed by Senanayake for 12, and that was the time when Ian Morgan was gone. The score was on Nelson for 5 wickets in the 29th over. Now there was a spell, and that was the time Ravi Bopara and Jos Butler were at the crease, and 111 for 5 in the 29th over. It looked a very tall task for England, and probably, I'm sure, many people would have given up. But Jos Butler, we all know, when I've seen him, how he has actually come into the international reckoning with those knocks in the English county cricket. And well, Jos Butler definitely showed that today. He really shows that he is an enormous talent, and one was really amazed at the way he was hitting the ball. The way he hit Kulashekara. Look at Kulashekara's figures. It was really damaged. But as I said, at 111 for 5, nobody would have given England a chance. And Sri Lanka, were really throttling the English batsmen, and runs were hard to come by. The boundaries had absolutely dried up, probably for a span of 20 overs, and things were looking pretty bleak for England at the time. But Ravi Bopara slowly in the company of Jos Butler. Even though Ravi Bopara decided to play second fiddle, Jos Butler took the attacking option, and he went after the bowlers by getting those scoops that he's really famous for, and he played some very good strokes in that knock, and what a knock that was. And that partnership really went to great proportions, and I'm sure it would have really surprised Sri Lanka, because what it did is it definitely turned the tide England's way when this partnership went on to take the score to 244. So it was almost 133 run partnership, and this partnership from 29th over, it took on till the 45th over and started giving more and more hope for England. And as I said, Jos Butler, the way he actually smacked Kulashekara was a real treat to watch. Kulashekara was absolutely nonplussed there. What is amazing about Jos Butler, he packs such a punch, and the way he is able to maneuver the strokes, the way he's able to hit the ball, that is something something pretty amazing according to me. And Jos Butler carried on, and when Bopara was out, the score, it was in the 45th over, and then Chris Jordan started supporting him, and Jos Butler decided, once Bopara was gone, Jos Butler decided that he is the one to do it, and he really I would say he changed. He had already changed the gear, but what he did, he changed gears pretty quickly there. And in the next over, what Kulashekara was bowling, I think he took 20 runs of that over, and it was a very good knock from Jos Butler. But Jos Butler, he was there. England definitely had hope, but they definitely lost Chris Jordan to Malinga for 5. And in the end, when probably I think it was around 12 overs, I think it was around 8 or 9 runs were required. That was the time, the very first ball. In fact, in the 4th delivery, in the 50th over, they still had hope, because it was the 50th over, and the score, they still had hope because it was 300 runs, probably 10 runs required of the final over. Jordan was out in the 50th over, but Butler was still there, and I'm sure Sri Lanka would have definitely hoped that they get Butler's wicket, and definitely they did, as Butler actually trying to dig in a Yorker was unfortunately, as I said, he was run out. The pressure was building. It was the 4th delivery, and they still needed 8 runs. Unfortunately for Butler, he was run out, which was a real shame. And what an innings from Jos Butler, making 121 of just 74 deliveries, 11 fours and 4 sixes. But with Jos Butler going, one absolutely knew the outcome, as he was the man to do it. But one has to really thank Jos Butler for taking England so close and giving them such a fight, giving Sri Lanka such a fight, and in the end losing the match by 7 runs. And Kulashekara, as I said, Jos Butler was the man who manhandled him, 10 overs for 81. But also credit to Malinga and Kulashekara, who came back big time in the final 2 overs when they really with 20 runs required. I thought Kulashekara and Malinga, if you look at the bowling, they bowled all block hole deliveries. In fact, after the 12 deliveries, one would say probably 9 deliveries were absolutely on the block hole, and that was splendid bowling, I thought, by Kulashekara and Malinga in the last 2 overs, and that is what enabled them to pile on the pressure, and finally Sri Lanka won the match. Malinga 3 for 52, Matthews 1 for 30, 1 for 49 for Sen and Naike. Mendes was today really given a real bashing by the England batsmen, especially Butler, 10 overs to 60, 3 overs for 15 for Priyanjan. Well, even though England lost, I'm very happy to see that they decided to give Jos Butler the man of the match. And why not? A person who slams the fastest century by an Englishman in one-day internationals, I thought that was an absolute right choice. Probably people might have argued that Sri Lanka won the match, so probably Kumar Sangakkara, but I thought that was the right choice, that Jos Butler going on to slam the fastest century by an Englishman of 61 balls in a one-day international, took the man of the match award. So as I said, the 5-match series is absolutely really set up now for the fifth and final one-day international, which is coming. I think it is going to be played at Northampton, if I'm not wrong. Sorry, it is going to be played at Birmingham. That's on 3rd of June. Well, dear fans and subscribers, now before I end my cricket happenings, let me just wrap it up here with a very simple thing. I'm not going to do a preview, unfortunately, as there's no time today. Well, tomorrow is the finals of the Indian Premier League 2014. Kolkata Knight Riders taking on the Kings 11 Punjab at Bangalore. What a match that is going to be. And for Kings 11 Punjab, well, this is their first finals that they have reached in the Indian Premier League history, and they would be hoping to make history tomorrow. Kolkata Knight Riders have peaked at the right time, and let me tell you, Kolkata Knight Riders and Kings 11 Punjab, I think that should be a real firecracker of a game tomorrow at Bangalore. And I'm sure the crowds in Bangalore are going to really get their money's worth tomorrow when they watch this game, because as I said, both the teams are packed with batsmen. Well, as far as Kings 11 Punjab are concerned, we all know Glenn Maxwell, and they have David Miller, and also the openers. Virendra Sehwag has just scored a century, so that would be something. His confidence would be sky high, and then they have some very good players too. Well, if you look at the Kolkata Knight Riders, they have Sunil Narine, who has decided to stick to IPL instead of representing West Indies. I thought it was a very good gesture and a very good thing on the part of Sunil Narine to do it, because Sunil Narine, according to me, forms a vital cog in Kolkata Knight Riders' successful scheme of things. And also Robin Uthappa. What to say about Robin Uthappa? 10 40s. He has reeled up 10 40s in this Indian Premier League 2014, and what a player Robin Uthappa has become. And Robin Uthappa, as you know, he has been the most consistent. He has the orange cap, as you know. And well, what to say about Robin Uthappa? The more lesser the said, whatever you say about Robin Uthappa, I think it is very less, because he has really played. He has really played a very vital part in Kolkata Knight Riders' success. So all in all, I think it's a real firecracker of a contest which is coming up tomorrow in the Indian Premier League Finals 2014. May the best team win. That would be my that is how I would actually leave my cricket show for today, by saying let the best team win, because both the teams are absolutely evenly matched, whether it is the batting, whether it is the bowling. Both of them are looking absolutely hungry, and well, who is going to really lay their hands on the Indian Premier League 2014 will be known tomorrow at Bangalore. Well, dear fans and subscribers, that's it from me, your host Ram, on this late cricket happening show on a Saturday. See you all tomorrow with the final report of the Indian Premier League. Until then, it's good night from your host Ram. Thank you.